Hello everyone and welcome to the Fenworks official Twitch channel. My name is Ryan Kraus and I am the head coach of UND Esports here. Today we have a special match between our UND League of Legends team and the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs, who is the #1 seed for League of Legends in the Fenworks High School State Tournament.
Hey, I'm Anthony Moser. I play League of Legends here at UND, as well as I'm in the Esports program. Pretty excited to be here just because seeing the high schoolers coming up, these are the people that are going to be playing here in the future, as well as hopefully the people I'll be coaching in the next couple of years. So really excited to see what talent they're bringing and see what they're capable of.
Of course, yes. I'd like to shout out and give a couple of thanks. Of course, this match would not be possible without Fenworks. They are the ones that are hosting this, or created this state championship here, and we are their gracious hosts. It is awesome to see the over 350 students and plentiful amount of high schools in all of North Dakota and Minnesota here to come to play. Not only are we streaming League, we're also streaming Fortnite, Valorant, and Rocket League at later dates as well. And we also have Chess and Super Smash Brothers as well upstairs as well. However, they are not being streamed. So on to our match today. We're going to have the UND Green varsity team, and it looks like we're hopping right into draft, so we are ready to talk about that.
Yeah, get going. Bands will start coming out here. Let's see.
So these two teams have never played each other. I know that. And I actually just gave our OP.GGs about 30 minutes ago to the opposing coaches as well. So I think right now the plan is just to kind of ban things that both teams don't really want to play. On screen, it looks like we have a Renekton and Viego ban for the Cheyenne Mustangs, I believe, are on red side this game. And then on blue side is going to be the UND Green, and I cannot currently see their bans.
It'll be Soraka and Ivern, so getting a lot of the shields and heals down.
Okay, awesome. So looks like, so I was actually wrong. Cheyenne Mustangs are going to be on the blue side this game. My apologies, folks. But they have the first pick. Let's see what they do here. It might just be a comfort pick, something that's a little bit more meta. It looks like it is Kai'Sa.
Yeah, so probably picking that ADC is pretty normal. And I mean, Kai'Sa is really strong right now. A couple different build options. That AP build that we saw last year isn't nearly as good. But still a good pick. Good for all-ins, good for lane. And hopefully just something they're comfortable on. And then we'll pick up the TF and the Smolder. So really interesting start already with basically 3 marksmen being picked.
Yeah. Smolder is a brand new champion here to League of Legends. He can be flexed in multiple lanes, however, it's mostly going to be in that carry role in the bot lane. And right now we see that the blue side has also picked Echo here. He's traditionally in the mid lane, and that is probably in response to the Twisted Fate pick as well, who's also very meta. And then we also have that Lilia pick as well, who's going to be in the jungle most likely. Yeah,
AP mid and jungle is pretty interesting here coming out from Cheyenne. Gonna be exciting to see. Echo very aggressive in lane. Kai'Sa very aggressive. Lilia more passive farmer. So we'll see how that super aggressive mid laner and super passive jungler can play together. And then Fiddlesticks coming out for UND. So also going with an AP jungler that can fight at 6, but much like Lilia likes to just farm early and kind of not really do a whole lot.
Yep, we've got the second phase of bans here. It looks like a Leona ban as well. That is the UND's support's favorite champion. His name is Wazshao, but also known as Barbecue Leona is one of his alternate accounts. So he is known to be one of the best North American Leona players in the United States.
Yeah, very big Leona player. He definitely is a fan. And then Olaf and Nidalee being banned out by UND. Picking the Nocturne. So this is looking very spicy already. I'm not quite sure exactly how it's going to play out. Kind of thinking a TF Smolder bot lane, Fiddlesticks jungle, and a Nock mid. Because Nock is actually very good into Echo. Because you can for free block Echo's stun, and then just be able to run him down with your Fear and Q.
Yeah, having both Nocturne and Twisted Fate, both of their ultimates together are actually really good. Twisted Fate, he gives vision of the entire map. And then Nocturne actually takes away vision of the entire map for the opposing team. And both of them have very long, almost teleport-like spells where they are able to get onto an opponent. So it's going to be really easy for UND to kind of pick off the Cheyenne Mustangs this game with those two characters. However, since they are the ultimate abilities, it is going to be a little bit tougher to do it all the time just because they have long cooldowns.
Yeah, even looking at picking up the Shen, which would be interesting because they're going full global ults. Shen also able to go that long distance, teleport to a teammate, defend them, give them a shield. Then just a tankier bruiser to be able to tank some damage and provide some CC. So they do lock in. And then the Yuumi and Sion being picked for the Mustangs here. So Mustangs going with a pretty standard draft. Yuumi Kai'Sa, it's pretty interesting. Kai'Sa really likes going in. Yuumi able to kind of buffer up a little bit. UND going with a little bit kooky, actually going with the Twisted Fate top. And then we'll bring the Shen down to support. So protect that Smolder, get that Smolder stacking up. Then with that really strong mid game here from UND.
Yeah, for sure. I really did like UND's draft this round because it was really hard even for us to figure out what they were doing with it, right? They would be able to pick champions, and oftentimes they are associated with one specific lane. However, this time they were able to kind of flex those into different positions and different spots, which for the Cheyenne Mustangs is going to be really tough to actually differentiate during draft. All right, what's our matchup going to be, right? What champions or which characters should we be picking into this? So right now we are about to enter our 3-minute, we actually have no spectator delay about that. Sorry. Today we, since the League of Legends client is currently broken, we are doing a little bit weird of a spectator angle here. So we're actually going to be in live time for League, switching point of views for the UND's team here. But yeah, so we'll get started right away. Anthony, what do you think of each team's draft? I mean, what are the win cons of both teams and just your overall thoughts?
I mean, not even looking at the draft from how we wash, it was really interesting. So for UND, I mean, that Smolder is going to always be that late game win con. If he hits 225 stacks, he basically gets Elder Dragon as a passive, which is going to be super strong. But then UND also is a very much ult go in type of team. Is able to Shen ult, Nocturne ult, Fiddlesticks ult, NTF ult can all go long distances over walls, have that super strong team. They're actually invading early here. We'll immediately pick up the first blood on Lilia onto the Smolder. So that late game win con that UND had already has 400 gold in his pocket.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm not sure if Lily was paying attention there, but UND definitely got a really good invade there, got first blood, starting off with an extra item in lane. As we can tell that this Smolder got an extra longsword. That is fundamental of just, making sure that you win that lane. I want to go a little bit more for some of the new viewers out there. I know a lot of parents and friends are watching the stream. If you're not 100% sure what League of Legends is, the overall objective of the game is there is two sides that are very symmetrical. One side is the blue side and one side is the red side. And basically to win the game, you have to slowly take down these structures such as turrets and things like that. And finally, that last structure, which is in the enemy's base, is called the Nexus. Once that Nexus is down, then the game is over. There's lots of other mini things going on as well. Like right now we're looking at mid lane, and it's basically a 1v1 of one person against another person in that lane, checking it out. Right now we're switching to the top lane of Sion versus Twisted Fate. So we've got all these little lane phases going on in the beginning of the game, and that's very matchup dependent here. So throughout the game, we'll see that these lanes don't become as concrete, and we'll see people grouping up and grouping as 5 and doing a little bit more fun team fights rather than this beginning phase of taking down these minions to earn gold, to get experience, that makes your character stronger.
Yeah, lane phase, especially for these teams, is going to be minus mid lane, and then TF is also quite abusive in lane, as you can see. Almost getting the second blood there onto the Sion. But both bot lanes this game are going to be very farm heavy. Mid lane's going to be very fight heavy, as you can see. Echo getting very low. Nocturne trading really aggressive earlier. Nocturne's entire character personality is I want to run at you and I want to hit you. And Echo's entire personality is I want to run at you and hit you. So it's going to be a very exciting mid lane.
One thing that I want to point out, there are two different types of resources here. The first resource is going to be that health bar, and that's going to be that green or blue bar that you see on the top, or red for the enemy team. And below them, it's going to be mana for the most part. So basically, to use your spells and abilities, you're going to have to make sure you have mana. When we saw in the mid lane here, let's look. First blood already to the Cheyenne Mustangs currently this game. They were able to get a good roam off of that Nocturne and punish him there. So they actually start this game off 1-0 here. It looks like there was a counter kill as well. I'm not 100% sure. Did you see who went down there?
What was that? Smolder first blood there early.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And then Nocturne went to help invade with Fiddlesticks and then got caught out in that jungle there and ended up in a 1v2. Fiddle's still sticking around though.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like Fiddlesticks is getting up into Lilia's business here in his jungle, but he's getting very quickly collapsed on. There's 3 people already, and it looks like he's going to be taken down. So UND currently to a 2-1 start, but after that first blood, it actually really has been the Cheyenne Mustangs all over UND. It seems like they might have gotten a little confident, playing a little bit too aggressive and by themselves compared to the Cheyenne Mustangs who have been playing together. So very good start from the Mustangs after that first blood take.
Yeah, Mustangs definitely had a bad first minute and a half. The minions hadn't even spawned yet, gave up first blood, but now looking incredibly strong. Then another big mid play coming, Shen with the support row mid. We'll get the taunt on Echo, which allows the free fear to get off, but Echo getting the W off. Oh, and then actually just burn Ticks to death.
Yep.
Pretty close there. I'm actually surprised he got the stun off on Nocturne. I don't know what Nocturne used his spell shield on. But still looking pretty good here for UND.
Yep, so UND counters back there. They get a successful gank off, which is considered a 2v1 situation. As we can quickly tell that we are going back aggressive here into the blue side jungle. UND unfortunately does not get that blue buff. However, we might get a follow-up kill. Nocturne is currently getting 2v1. He's quickly running to our top side, flashes over the wall, could very quickly die here. Twisted Fate comes in with a gold card, and our UND's Nocturne does make it out safely.
Yeah, Nocturne keeps going for those really aggressive plays in the enemy jungler and almost losing his life twice. Really, none of those are working out for him. I think he should maybe just stick to lane for a little bit here.
Yep, so here's a 2v3. However, UND has a 2, but they have the health bars as well. Yep, walking into that bush with a full charge Silent Q was not the smartest idea. It looks like those 3 people were able to turn on UND and get a 2-4-0 for the Cheyenne Mustangs there. Again, playing this early game very well for the West Fargo team.
Yeah, I mean, Fog of War is very abusable in this game, especially as a Scion. So when you're in that bush, the enemies can't see you. And Scion's Q, his big knock-up ability there, it takes 3.5 seconds, I believe, to get to a full charge. So you can charge that without them even knowing. If you walk into that, you're going to get knocked up, you're going to get CC, and you're going to take a huge amount of damage. And that TF, as you can see, lost his entire health bar very quick.
As we quickly switch over to mid lane, it looks like Nocturne is going for a little bit of a trade here and some damage on the Echo. He does have that priority in lane, which is important, right? So they'll be able to have a little bit more access around the map. As you can tell, UND has started up the Dragon. These are one of the objectives in the game that allow your characters to get stronger. So having those priority in lanes, which means that they're winning lanes, allows them to go for these neutral objectives down here, like this Dragon here. We saw after UND lost the team fight on the top, where the 2v3 fight turned out to the Cheyenne Mustangs, they took the other objective as well, called the Grubs. So they did go for a 1-for-1 trade there on objectives, but I'm excited to continue to see how out, because this early game has been a lot closer than I expected.
Yeah, 4-2 right now. A little bit in the Mustangs' favor. Overall, fairly close, though, just because we do have priority for UND in all 3 lanes, so a little bit of CS advantage. It's going to be really close to those. Grubs could allow the Mustangs to start taking some tower plates here soon, but they need to get Prio first, and that Nocturne has not breathed yet. TF is able to always push lanes. And then the Kaisa Yumi are just really struggling at that Shen, because one Shen taunt and that Kaisa is getting probably over half her health bar removed.
Yeah, one thing I do want to note, we are getting to that point of the game right now where at level 6, each character gets their ultimate ability. And ultimate ability is basically the strongest part of each character's kit, which can really impact either the map or a team fight. Their cooldowns are much longer compared to the basic abilities, which each character has 3 of. So like we were saying in the draft phase, both Twisted Fate and Nocturne, who are the top and mid laners for UND, have kind of these global ults where they're able to go to a specific part of the map relatively quickly and take over a short distance of time. So I am excited to see how they utilize those now that they're on par. I could see that a potentially 3 or 4 man gank in the bot lane happen. Right now it's kind of gotten a little bit quieter. Everybody's just gone back to farming their minions, getting gold and getting items. But yeah, I'm excited. It's getting to that point of level 6 here into the game.
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking about with those objectives, that Dragon and those Grubs are like the big fighting points a lot of times. And UND having those big ults will most likely be looking to contest those from further away, and we'll probably see a massive fight break out around there pretty soon. I believe second Grubs are probably up in about a minute's time. Dragon's still probably about 3 minutes away, though.
Yep. It looks like right now we're on the point of view of the top lane. Twisted Fate, being a ranged character, is just kind of bullying this Scion out. We also see both junglers are up there as well, kind of just as some support. It doesn't look like there's going to be any killing here in the top lane, or any kills or deaths happening. So just still farming around, waiting for this next neutral objective and seeing if we can get a successful gank off around.
Yeah, Twisted Fate is already a bully type champion in lane, especially in a ranged versus melee matchup. But TF is also just super strong right now. He's being played top lane, being played mid lane, and being played ADC. So really strong pickup for UND there and really using it to their advantage in the top lane, where I don't think that Scion has really spent much time in lane here.
As we can tell here, the Nocturne was roaming towards bot lane, and that enemy bot lane did understand that. So Nocturne was one of those characters that could quickly gank a lane, and then the Mustang's bot lane ended up going back to base, which is a little bit, at least they didn't die, but also they're losing a whole bunch of gold, CS, and UND's bot lane is able to get a whole bunch of gold off of the towers and just get a little bit further ahead. So even though there weren't any kills that happened there, UND did kind of win that exchange just by getting those minions, getting that gold, and taking down those towers, which at the end of the game, you need to get the towers down before you can win the game.
Yeah, Nocturne's entire theme is he's the ghost of paranoia. That's kind of what he does best. He goes in a fog of war like we talked about earlier, and if you don't see Nocturne, you are very afraid of him all of a sudden being directly on top of you. So even if he doesn't plan on ganking a lane, just walking in a fog of war there can basically allow him to push other people away.
So here we just saw that the grubs ended up going down on the top side. So the Cheyenne Mustangs were able to get all 6 of those. What is important about that is they allow the towers to be taken a lot quicker compared to the UND side, by a lot. There's going to be true damage that are going to be done to the towers. As we look towards a mid lane fight here, 3v1, UND does get a successful gank off. It looks like the Mustangs mid laner did fall there. Let's see what UND can kind of do to take advantage of that.
Yeah, Scion trying to solo defend this bot turret, but that getting down to just 1 plate left. Nocturne getting some free time on the mid turret. TF going to shove back up that top turret. So really, UND doesn't get a whole lot off of that play, but they definitely needed the kill, definitely needed the gold. Looking pretty strong here. And then Lily is actually looking to contest the dragon already. And Smolder doesn't need to take a reset. He's completely out of mana.
Yep, so that was one of those resources at the beginning. Smolder cannot use abilities. And this new champion, while he is an AD carry and he's going to be doing damage with auto attacks, he needs that mana cost to be able to use those abilities that are very important to his kit.
Yeah, Smolder is actually more of like a caster ADC, so he actually needs the Q, which will cost mana. He needs the W that will cost mana. And that's why you're actually
for a mid lane fight here. We got a nice flash taunt from the Shen, and Fiddlesticks was also able to take down the Echo once again. Getting a little bit bullied here, I'd say, in the mid lane. UND has definitely been focusing this Fargo mid laner here. That might be enough of that momentum for UND to take the second dragon as well.
Yeah, that Shen's been doing pretty good here. I think that was his second roam mid that resulted in a kill. Shen's really good. He has that long range dash that allows him to CC enemies. He's really taking advantage of that, moving up from bot lane to mid lane, getting that Echo caught out. And yeah, Echo is just getting, he's probably had the enemy jungler there 3 times and the enemy support there twice. So he's definitely feeling the love from UND this game.
Yeah, for sure. So UND is going to take this second dragon uncontested unless Lilia comes in and gets a random steal. A steal is basically when the dragon gets low, and like we just saw there, we did not use our smite ability to actually last hit it, and then the enemy team ends up taking the dragon. So whoever does the last hit gets that objective. So right there it was UND, no big deal, but perhaps even later in the game that might come up where we're going to have those 4v4, 5v5 team fights around the objective, and that last hit is all that matters. As we look towards the bot lane here, it looks like we've got 3 or 4. We've got basically all of UND down here. We're going through a 1v2. We got a kill off of Kai'Sa, kill off of Yuumi, and they're backing off now for Echo. So those global ults that we just used there, we were able to get those 2 kills.
Yeah, and that was a lot for UND there. 2 kills, like we said, on the Kai'Sa and Yuumi, slow them down, but then also first turret with all 5 plates is a lot of money onto that Smolder. Like we talked about when this game first started, is Smolder's going to be that late game win con. He's going to be that carry in about 10 minutes from now, and he is getting loaded with endless amounts of gold, and will be very ahead of the curve here come the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. One thing we see right now, we're on Shen's point of view, which is our support. He was taking the enemy jungle's camp, so that's one way as well for the Cheyenne Mustangs to kind of get back into the game, take some gold. But if UND goes through their jungle and kind of counters that and takes it for themselves, it's hard for them to get kind of back into this game. As we look here, it looks like there's a 3-man gang top lane. Shen on UND's team is using his ultimate to basically back them away. Cheyenne Mustangs were not confident in that 3v2 situation up here and decided to play it safe and not go for any kills there.
Yeah, this AD-TF build, TF is normally a caster-style champion where he deals a lot of upfront damage, but going with the more auto-attack-based build, so getting that Shen with them there, Shen can CC them long enough where TF could shred them, and I believe the Mustangs would have probably lost that fight if they would have kept taking it.
Yeah, especially with, even though our Twisted Fate, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, was 0-1 and 2, he has been getting a whole bunch of CS and gold, which might make him even stronger than most of the Cheyenne Mustangs team.
TF is also just not somebody to be messed with right now, although they're going for round 2 here.
Yep, Twisted Fate does realize that he can just go for this Scion here. Getting under tower, the Lilia is trying to come to help, flashes forward, and gets her ultimate off, which is a Drowsy, which makes Twisted Fate asleep. As we see from the bot hand side, Echo is currently fighting. He has his ultimate, and he uses it to get back out into the Fiddlesticks. All 3 Cheyenne Mustangs is low as we see Echo get taken down. Twisted Fate is on the other side, making sure he doesn't die. We got the Kaisa, Yuumi, as well as the Lilia, all trying to run away. UND is now gets the taunt off of the Kaisa. Yuumi now gets off and also dies. And that ends up being a 3-for-1 trade for UND.
I don't even think there was one for UND, no?
Oh, 3 for 0.
Yeah, 3 for 0.
3 for 0.
Yeah, it was a very long, drawn-out start there. I mean, you could even consider the start of that fight when Shen ulted the TF during that first gank, so over a minute-long fight there, but UND with those global ults able to just bring in reinforcements very quickly. As you can see, that Fiddlesticks being ult over the wall and actually just picking off the Lilia here in the jungle once again.
Yep.
So 4 kills there.
So the Fiddlesticks knew that the Lilia was there because we had vision. Most of the map is dark currently, but UND has been placing down wards. Cheyenne Mustangs can also do that, but UND was able to spot out that Lilia, and Fiddlesticks with his ultimate came over the wall, teleported a little bit, did a whole bunch of upfront damage. UND with the jungler being just respawning now is trying to take this other objective called the Rift Herald. This also will help with taking down towers and objectives. UND overall right now is stronger with a kill count 10-4 as well as a CS lead and objective lead. So it's going to be tough for the Cheyenne Mustangs to kind of contest this, as you can tell. Not a whole lot was going on. They just are kind of backing off here. Echo comes at the last second here, gets CC'd, which means he got stunned and ends up falling again at the last moment there.
Yeah, Cheyenne really knew they couldn't contest that and did a good job of not trying to overcommit too much. Looking for some Kaisa Ws, seeing if maybe they could find an angle to find a member that was out of position. Couldn't find anything, but then the Echo just overstayed a little bit. Allowed the TF gold card to get on him, and then you're just done from there.
Yep, and at the same time, we did see Scion go down for the Cheyenne Mustangs as well. That looked like a mid lane versus top lane fight, and our Nocturne was able to take him down. We did spot Lilia running away from her jungle and probably into ours to just try to recall and get back to base safely so she does not fall as well. But during this time, since UND is up so much, they are in that enemy jungle, right? They are there trying to, bleed out all of this gold. We do spot Lilia. She is trying to take back some of the UND's jungle. However, she's in a sticky situation right now. It's got 2 members following her, as well as Nocturne, who's in that jungle, able to come back. It's a 3v1 situation, 4v1 situation now, and Lilia falls.
Yeah, I think Lilia just got desperate there, that she knew she was losing her whole jungle and wanted to try to take something back from UND in our jungle. But just overstaying a bit too long, gets caught up by 1, and then 4 people at UND on the bot side of the map ready to take the dragon, just collapse on her, take her out. And then now they get this dragon, and I believe that's 2 or 3
that's
for
the
them?
Third dragon.
Third dragon for UND.
Yep, so a little bit about dragons. UND has 3 out of 4 of them currently, or up to 4 dragons. Once you get that 4th dragon, it becomes even more powerful. So right now I believe I saw it was the Cloud Soul, which lowers the ultimate cooldown, which is that most important ability. We're going to talk about that later as we have a 3v1 in the top lane. Scion does end up falling again. He was able to get a tower, which is overall positive, getting a little bit of gold there for the team. I would say that's more worth than his death there, because his entire team got gold. But back onto the dragons. UND currently has 3 of them. If they get that 4th dragon, they get a whole bunch of cooldown reduction. Whenever they use their ultimates, they also get a movement speed buff as well. Which honestly, for UND's team, not the greatest. We're going to switch off again. Here is Nocturne going into the Lilia, into their jungle, takes her down as well. Anything to add, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel really bad for the Lilia at this point. She's really far behind and just unable to get a single camp. Cyan does get that top turret, and it is a bounty. So there, in League of Legends, there's objective bounties where if your team is far enough behind, you get extra gold for doing what you're supposed to be doing. So if you can get one dragon or one tower or one herald, even though you're losing the rest, you get extra gold, and your entire team gets that gold. So if the Mustangs pick up a few of those, that would be nice, but Cyan getting bullied once again. Might be able to get away here, though, this time.
Yep, that just living at about 50 health there, just gets out. But with him being so low, UND dropped that Rift Herald, which was one of those objectives they were just fighting for. And as we see, this turret health goes down a lot. We see a fight in the back. Fiddlesticks goes and engages on 2 of them, ends up taking down 1 here. Echo able to get a trade kill onto the Fiddlesticks, however, does fall in the end. Overall, 2 for 1 for UND. They have this Rift Herald, again, charging, taking half of the turret's health, and they are trying to break open to UND's base. Cyan is not allowing that to happen. Shen goes down to that tower after a knockup from Cyan. The Cyan is still going in and frontlining there. The Kaisa unfortunately falls after going in, trying to do some damage, as well as her partner Yumi, her support. And now it is currently a 3v2. Only Lilia and Cyan live. Cyan flashes away there. Same thing with Lilia. UND is able to win the fight, get the towers. They're able to get 2 towers there and an inhibitor. And what we're currently in is the Mustangs base right now. UND, I think, is staying a little bit too long as the Smolder realizes, hey, I've got no buddies around here. I should probably leave too.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, though, I would not say that's the worst thing in the world that could have happened to the Mustangs. You lose an inhib, so you need to get some gold there. He gets perma prio in the top lane. But hey, you can send the Kaisa to farm supers now, which once that inhibitor is gone, these big bulky minions spawn. When you kill them, you get even more gold. So help the Kaisa catch up. Plus 2 shutdowns there, 1 onto the jungler, the Fiddlesticks, and then 1 onto the support, the Shen. So overall, that's a lot of gold for the Mustangs despite losing a lot. And maybe that's a little bit of gold they need to hopefully make a good play here coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for the Mustangs. They are down quite a bit. As you can see, UND is living in their jungle. Lilia just trying to get any sort of farm, and unfortunately falling again. UND is now going back onto the Kaisa, the bot lane, the Yumi. All 3 of them fall. It is currently a 5v2. All UND really needs are minions right now to try to end the game. Going for that Echo. Echo has to ult away to try to live. Unfortunately, he still falls. It is currently 5v1, and UND might look to end mid lane with these minions. It might be a little bit tougher just because it's so early into the game. The death timers are still relatively low. And, you know, the Cheyenne Mustangs are coming back to life here. UND able to now break 2 inhibitors. It looks like they are posturing for an end. This could be a throw. This could be what the Cheyenne Mustangs need, right? UND is relatively low. Cheyenne Mustangs just got back. It looks like UND recognizes that and says, you know what? We got a whole lot. We got that tower. We got that inhib. We got some kills. Let's go reset, get our health back, spend some items, and probably regroup at that Baron.
Yeah, 1 inhib down is something you can farm to get gold. 2 inhibs down is normally a death sentence. Going to be very hard for the Mustangs to live here, be able to breathe. They have to be constantly worrying about their base, protecting those super waves. And then the Baron just spawned, which the Baron is the best buff to be able to end that game. So where we saw those grubs get taken by the Mustangs earlier and the Rift Herald get taken by UND, there's now a big worm there. That gives whoever takes it a massive buff to minions. And then hopefully, whichever team get that is very easy, take down multiple towers. For UND, probably win the game. If the Mustangs manage to get it, they get that shutdown on Baron. It'll be thousands of gold for the Mustangs and multiple towers. So really, this Baron fight could really dictate the entire game. For
sure. So right now, UND was just farming to get their last-minute items. As we were able to see, Twisted Fate went to the bot lane, able to complete Gwynsu's Rage Blade, which will just make his auto attacks hurt even more. Right now, we're in the jungle again, this time on the bot side. An interesting spot. If I were Lilia, I wouldn't expect us to be over there anyways either, with Baron being up, but able to take that jungler down. Cyan is very much ahead. We see a really nice flash from the Nocturne, stopping that Cyan ultimate, so they should be able to take him down. This will end up being a 5v3. Yep, Cyan goes down. Does UND choose to try to end mid lane or go? It looks like they're choosing to end mid lane. We've got a Shen Nocturne going in. Those global ults coming huge, killing down the Kaisa, taking down the Yumi. And it is just the Echo left alive. We do have Lilia respawning here again. Echo ends up going down from that stun, and it looks like right now UND is posturing to end this game. The first tower goes down. Lilia comes, trying to save the day, trying to get a sleep, ends up going down right away. Second tower falls, and UND is taking down the Nexus and will win this Showmatch game.
Yeah, I mean, that Lilia kept getting picked in that jungle there. And then looking to farm her bot camps, thinking UND, hey, they're probably going for the Baron here. Which seems like the obvious choice, but UND wanting to look for a pick and then either go Baron, go Dragon, or go Friend. They managed to get the 1, then find the Scion. And then that Nocturne channel, like we were talking about all game, is so strong. Nocturne able to just fly in on that Kai'Sa with the support with him, clean up those 2 kills, and then Echo is just not going to be enough to stop 5. Really ahead UND players from ending that game.
For sure. I do want to give the West Fargo Mustangs kudos. The beginning of the game had me sweating a little bit. As the coach of this League of Legends team, I was surprised how well they were playing together and were getting some kills off of our mid lane, jungle, and even top lane combos. And then UND just have a little bit more experience as a team altogether. I know they've been playing together for almost 2 years now. They were able to kind of come back, start playing together, utilize those global ultimates that they had. But nonetheless, the Cheyenne Mustangs in the beginning of the game kept it a lot closer than I thought. I think UND, with those champions and being able to impact the map so well and showcase how dominant they are and how smart they understand the game and kind of win not only at that micro level, which is more of that 1v1, how good you are at mechanics, but also at that game knowledge, right? Where should we be? We saw them living in the Mustangs jungle almost the entire game, which was really one of those major downfalls where, Lilia wasn't able to do anything. She wasn't able to go get that gold, get that experience. So I do want to give them kudos. I think they played the beginning of the game well. It just kind of shows how dominant that these college level teams really can be, that they just took down the best of North Dakota and Minnesota in about 25 minutes in a relatively quick fashion.
Yeah, even with the rough early game for UND, it was, the mid to late game was definitely stronger. But the Mustangs, I was really surprised. That was a really good start. I think they were up 4 kills there at 10 minutes, got 6 grubs. Definitely a competitive game there in the early game, and I was really excited to see that. It was definitely something to look forward to.
Yes, for sure. So I think that's going to be it for us today. I wanted to thank again not only Fenworks for putting this tournament together and making this happen, but also the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs for agreeing to this show match. We had a great time casting it. I'm sure our league players had a great time playing against you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys here in a couple of years whenever you graduate, and you can be on this UND Green team in the future. Anything else you want to add, Anthony, before we end?
No, it was definitely fun to cast, and I hope maybe to do this next year, but we'll see.
Awesome. All right, thanks again. We will be streaming Fortnite here in relatively shortly fashion with different casters, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.